Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Handhelds. I'm Joey, and today we're going to be taking a look at a special older device, the Anbernic RG280V. Full disclosure, as you could probably tell, this was sent to me for review by Temu. I'm going to assume that by now most people have heard of Temu, just given the fact that a lot of people have been using their coupons to get devices extremely cheap. There's lots of deals if you can find them. Like the RG35XX for $30 is an easy example, which is just insane. New users to the app get first purchase discounts like a $100 coupon bundle using the link in my description or the code DKE7227 in the app. I'll have the code on screen for a bit now as well, or just check out the description for everything you need to know. Let's open the box, but before we do so, we have to be very careful. I've been told in the past that my box opening skills have not been very safe, so let's use our safety goggles and gloves for protection here. Taking this thing out of the wrapper, and wow, it's tiny. I've never had or held one of these before, and I'm pretty impressed with the size of it and the build quality. It feels pretty well made. It has the typical D-pad for Anbernic here, and the buttons, they feel clicky and the shoulders are clicky. Power button reset on the right, and then volume and SD card slots on the left. It feels like a mini tank. It's well built, and I could see myself using this. I'm going to try and remove this sticker. Still trying. Oh god, it's one of those that doesn't remove cleanly. I'm going to do this off camera. I'll be right back. Okay, we removed the pesky sticker, and now let's turn this thing on. Alright, so this is Windows 95, I can deal with it. Where do we go from here? Found the emulators, let's check out Game Boy. Whole list of games here. This is the 64 gig model, so there's like a million games here. I don't know, whatever comes on these SD cards, I never buy them. Can't find Pokemon. Let's check the Game Boy Color games. Okay, we have Pokemon Crystal. That's good enough. Let's go. It doesn't feel too bad to use. I'm actually surprised for the size. Start and select don't seem to exit, I guess, but select and X gets you a menu. The plan for me is to put Adam on this, and we'll do that pretty soon. Just for completeness, let's see the box, and we have a USB cable and some instructions. If you want to use the stock operating system, everything you need is right here. Probably should have read it before starting, but oh well, if you need to, it's here. I'm really impressed with the build quality on this. It feels pretty great. I know a lot of people like the RG Nano, but I find this to be a bit better and more usable. The Nano is just way too small. But I really want to play it, so let's get Adam Flash to it, and we'll load up with my ROMs and come right back. Okay, and here's Adam. That's much better. Emulation Station is the front end here, and now we can go through all of our games. This is my personal library. Let's try Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. And oops, I selected the wrong one. This is Mario Adventure, the ROM hack. I've actually never played this, and it's apparently one of the greatest NES hacks of all time, according to romhacking.net. There's some new songs, new levels, power-ups, and all that sort of thing here. But let's go back and jump into Super Mario Bros. 3 instead. Okay, this is much better. Controls are proper, the screen looks fantastic, and again, I'm impressed with this thing. This is $65 US right now on Temu, and minus their coupons, which you can get pretty easy, it's probably closer to about $40 or maybe a little bit less, which seems really fair for what you're getting here if you want a portable handheld. I'll put the specs of this device on screen as well and pricing so you have an idea of what's here. There isn't really much to talk about spec-wise, and I'm not really into that, so let's just use today's showcase to see what will run. And then that should give you an idea of what you can do with a handheld this small. This is really easy to use with the Atom image. I'm liking it so far. It does feel cramped a little. I could see myself getting tired if I did an extremely long session, but I bet it works well for JRPGs, Pokemon games, and others that you can just do one-handed. Let's see how it handles Super Nintendo games with Donkey Kong Country. The screen is really nice. This is playing perfectly. It's awesome. If I had to guess, it would likely top out at PlayStation 1 games with not all of them working 100%, but we'll try that in a bit. Checking another Super Nintendo game with F-Zero, and yeah, this runs perfectly as well. There's no issues that I can tell. Obviously it could get cramped after a little bit, but it's a fun way to play. Now, as promised, let's check out a PS1 game to see where this tops out. And we can use Digimon World, which I don't think I've actually played since it came out on the PS1. It seems to run just fine. There's likely some frame skipping or hacks going on in the background to get it to run, but hey, it works. So I can imagine that most of the PlayStation 1 library is probably playable, but you might have some issues with some of the harder to run titles. Now I'm also curious about Game Boy Advance for Pokemon games, but let's try out Advance Wars. Or actually, you know what? Let's not. I'm too lazy to do this tutorial and I don't have a save transferred over. But I can tell from just the tutorial part that it'll run just fine, so no issues here. But if we boot up Mario Kart Super Circuit, it'll be an easier test. And yeah, as I expected, there's no issues here at all. Game Boy Advance runs just fine. This seems like a pretty awesome device for the price, the size, and let's just do a quick recap. We have $65 regular price US, or half off, or $25 or $30 off with some coupons. So let's just say $40 for a device that can run up to and including PS1, which is pretty good. If you're not happy with the RG Nano, as it's just super tiny and in my mind just useless, this seems like it's a better buy and it's cheaper. Plus it just looks cool and it's built like a tank. I actually really like this one. I hope to see a revision at some point in the future with maybe Wi-Fi and something else, I don't know, but the build and as it is right now is kind of perfect. I think it's still worth a purchase in 2023 if you want something really tiny on the go. So something a bit smaller than the 35XX, for example. Share in the comments below. Do you have an RG280V? I'm curious what your thoughts are, how you've been using it for the last few years. From what I could tell, anybody that has one really likes it. Please don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow, and hope you all have a good one.